Hi, Andy here from Living Level. Today I'm talking about the Great Divide Campground in Newton, New Jersey, which is located in Sussex County, which is up in the northwest part of New Jersey. This campground is absolutely beautiful. There's about 270 sites. We've never been there before. It was our first time. We often see this campground recommended as one of the best campgrounds in New Jersey, so we knew we had to check it out. We booked this campground last fall. We were able to get a site. We got site S12, and our friends were able to get a site right across from us in D6. And we really liked our site. Since we are a 37-foot fifth wheel, we do have limited spaces where we can fit, but the office and the management, they were very accommodating in finding us a site where we fit. We did have to wait a little bit for the seasonal site people to pick out their sites, but once they were all settled in, we were able to get our site. So if you're interested in staying here and you do have a big rig, I advise calling in advance to see if they can fit you in. So this campground, like I said, there's 270 sites. It's kind of broken up into different sections. There's lots of different elevations. And I did do a walkthrough with my little Osmo Action. I kind of filmed each of the sections. I started from the A loop, and then I kind of walked my way through the W's and up and around the M loop, and then I think it's like E, F, and then back up to the S loop. So I will show that footage at the very end. It's probably very, very boring, but I'll stick it in at the end. So if you're looking at booking here, you can watch that walkthrough and you can speed it up to what sections you think you might want to stay in. All right, so this campground has a lot of amenities, but we stayed here July 2020, like with the asterisk during a global pandemic. So of course not all the amenities and activities were offered while we were there, unfortunately. So I can't tell you about everything, but I can tell you what we did experience. So we they have a pond, where it's like a lake, fishing pond, kayak pond, that is a catch and release, and just about every cast we caught something. We absolutely loved the lake. The kids fished the whole time, even during the heat wave. I did not mind sitting down there. It was such a nice setting. It was just so pretty down there. Absolutely love the fishing pond. They have an Olympic-sized pool with a really deep end, so it was really fun to jump in. They have a bunch of easy ups set up. So all the easy ups are owned by the campground, and it's first come, first serve. You can you have to bring your own chairs. So we brought our own chairs. We set up under our easy up. They had us signing in, washing our hands, signing out. They were trying to limit the amount of people at the pool, but they never hit the full amount. Hashtag pandemic. The other thing they had was a playground that was open while we were there, had just opened, so that was nice for the kids. They have a couple fun little things like a swinging gate. The kids love, it's very old school, and the kids love playing on that. They have basketball hoop. They have a chessboard set up, like the giant chess, but that was closed. They have a big area called the barn, and then some community fire pits around the campground. Those were all closed because of COVID. A big mining sloop, like a big, for the mining gems. That was one of my son's favorite things to do at a campground, and sadly that was closed because of COVID. So I did see it's reopened, so a good excuse for us to go back up there. So those are the activities. There's a gaga pit. I think there's a tetherball. That's all down by the pool, and then there's another section up by the M section where they have another gaga ball pit. They have volleyball. They have I think they have, I don't know if it's horseshoes, but they have a bunch of other things up there. So there's two kind of play areas. They have a dog park, which I love. The dogs loved it. It was down by the pool. It was easy to get to from our site. They also have a garden. It was so charming. My son loves gardening, so it was really nice to see like this really nice garden, and you can tell the seasonal campers all have little charms up there. Really cute little spot. Really like the garden. So those are most of the amenities. If I think of any more as I go, I'll throw them in there. As far as the campground layout, it is very hilly. It's all divided into like little loops and little sections. The A section has some covered wagons, which was really cool. You can rent and stay in them. There was a bunch of tent sites up in that area, and then as you go back around, there's some transient sites, and then you go into seasonal sites, and there's some tent site, or more tent sites. The W section, I called that bear country. I swear there had to be a lot of bears in that area. It looked like they were going to come through any second. There's a really cool, I want to give a point out for a lot of things at this campground are, you know, things you think about, like if you owned a campground, like, oh, I'd want this, so I'd want that. And like everywhere I looked at this campground, I'm like, oh, I want that in my campground. I want this in my campground. So they had like a standalone shower, like an outdoor shower. Really cute. Great idea. Wish I saw more of them at campgrounds. Their little cabin rentals are all different and cute and charming. And they're so sweet. Like I really liked all their little rentals. Then the sections go up. They keep most of the seasonals all together, and then there's the transient sites. So it is all broken up. We drove through, we pulled in with our 37-foot fifth wheel. The roads are narrow. We were able to navigate them. We didn't have any problems with like trees, you know, being too tight or anything like that. But it is hilly. When you after you check in and you come through the main gate and you go up, there is a steep hill. You're going straight up and you're going down. So one of the things there, they do require kids to wear bike helmets. It's very hilly. It's for their safety. New Jersey state law states 17 and under, you have to wear a helmet. This campground, make sure the kids, even if they're 17, have a helmet. They will need them there. Like I said, coming up over those bends, there were some blind corners. So for their safety in the hills, I mean, they get some speed going. So make sure you bring your helmets. But as far as the camping goes, there were a lot of speed bumps. We didn't go fast. So we got around no problems for our site. Our site was a full hookup site. This campground is broken down into some like tents, some primitive sites with just water, electric, and then there are full hookup sites, and then a lot of just water and electric. Our site, like I said, was a full hookup. We were on S12. Our hookups were at the very back. I think most of those S12, S11, 10, the hookups were at the very back of the site. So if you are going, you might want to make sure you have a long enough power cord or sewer hose. We were a little bit short. One of the seasonals drove by and saw that it was too short, and he said, oh, I got an extra one up at my site. Let me bring it down to you. Came down with an extra hose and worms. I mean, the people here cannot be nicer. So we loved our site. It was shaded. We were there during a heat wave, and somehow there was always a breeze coming through our site. It was very pretty. And then our friends were right across from us at D6, and they had a pop-up site, or a pop-up tent, and it was really nice. It was a nice shaded site. We really like the sites, and like I said, it's all broken up. So even though there's 270 or so sites at this campground, it only feels like there's like 20 at the most, because usually you can't see them all. There are a lot of things to do in the area. Unfortunately, that we were there during a heat wave and COVID-19, so we kind of limited our activities. I don't really like leaving the camper for a long time, especially when I have the dogs in it and the bunny. I don't know if we're allowed to bring the bunny to the campground, but well, the bunny, the dogs. Okay, the dogs. We told them we have the dogs, so we don't like to leave that. I don't like to leave them for too long. There is a lot of like rafting and tubing in that area, and so it takes about an hour to get there from the campground. So an hour and 15 minutes, and then there's a float is usually like 3 hours, and then it would take the hour to get back to the campground. So that's like a 5-hour trip. Felt a little long for me to leave the dogs for that long, or leave the camper. Another issue was if we left to go to Pennsylvania, there was like a whole quarantine thing. So whatever, we were more than happy staying at the campground. But the one thing we did do is we went to the Land of Make-Believe, which is like a little amusement park / water park. The amusement park is for little bitty kids. Well, there were some bigger rides, a couple. But then the water park was for all ages. It was really nice. I had not thought we'd go to a water park during all this that's going on. But they were limiting the amount of people that are allowed there. They can only sell so many tickets a day. So I was like, okay, well, we'll go. We'll check it out. And we pulled up, and there was like hardly anyone there. So we had the place to ourselves. It was wonderful. We went up. The slides were so much fun. They did have some of the things closed because they had to limit the amount of people in, and I guess the amount of things that were open and what have you. But it was great. We didn't have to worry about being close to anybody. We weren't around other people. It was great. So the Land of Make-Believe Water Park, if you want, we spent about 2 hours there. And we had a great time. My kids are 12 and 11, and my husband and I, we went down so many slides. We were running up the stairs and going down, running up and going down, no lines. It was just absolutely a blast. So I recommend it. It was really, really fun. Like I said, then there's a lot of other things to do in the area. There are restaurants, there's all kinds of lakes, there's all kinds of stuff. But like I said, with everything going on, we were just very, very happy just staying at the campground. Something I'm going to say, we did bring an inflatable raft. I thought we could take, or inflatable kayak, to take out onto the lake. They do require you to have life jackets, and you can bring your own kayaks, but we got down there and they were like, you can't use the inflatables on the lake. And we were like, okay. So we had to take it back up. Right after that, another family showed up with inflatable kayaks and took them out on the lake. Apparently the same person went up to them and told them you can't use the inflatable kayaks out on the lake. And but they checked with the owners. The owner said, no, that's fine. But they had life jackets. We didn't have life jackets. I wasn't going to push the subject. So I ended up using our kayak. I filled it with water. We kept it as like a little swimming pool at our site to cool off. So no harm done. But if you are going, make sure you have life jackets. And you might want to call first about the kayaks, what you have, and if it's okay on the lake before you drag it over there. They will not let you bring firewood in. Do not bring firewood. I know a lot of campgrounds say within 50 miles. You cannot bring firewood in. You can only get the firewood there at the camp store, or from the campground. They will deliver it to your site. They will deliver the firewood and the ice. You cannot bring your own. Somebody was checking in. They had firewood in the back of their truck, and they said, you got to take it home. They're like, we live 15 minutes from here. Like, doesn't matter. You need to take it home. So, warning. Don't bring firewood. Yeah, so like I said, a lot of this campground, there are a lot of seasonals there. So we went through Monday through Saturday. So basically we had the place to ourselves. And then all the seasonals started rolling in on a Friday night. A lot of the activities were limited while we were there. They were doing a lot of activities on the weekend, live bands, all kinds of stuff. But like I said, that 2020 asterisk, like global pandemic, everything's not what you normally would expect. So hopefully things maybe next year they will go back to those regular activities, because one of the main reasons that we went there was for all the activities for the kids, so we wouldn't have to leave. But we ended up not leaving, really. We got gas and went to a water park. But other than that, we were very, very happy just being there. Yeah, so we liked I really liked it. I found it charming. I was smitten with it. The one thing that the campground is lacking, the main thing that it's lacking, and I say this, but they're constantly improving it, is that the campground is all 30 amp, and we didn't have 50 amp service, which is fine. We can convert down from a 50 amp to 30 amp, but when you're camping in July during a heat wave and the temperatures are like 100 degrees, it is nice to be able to run both air conditioners. And run everything that we need to run. They make you use the propane hot water heaters. You cannot run your electric hot water heaters. So we were down to 30 amp. We had our water heater on the propane, and you're limited in how much stuff you can plug in. And middle of July, I would like that 50 amp. I don't mind 30 amp. It's fine in the spring, the fall, cooler weather. It's fine. I'm not going to complain. But I would love to see this campground have 50 amp. But like I said, while we were there, they were upgrading the electric the whole time. They said that was one of the biggest problems there, was the electric has been so bad. But the new owners who purchased it in 2012 have been making a lot of upgrades throughout this entire campground, and especially with the electric. The campground has like I said, there's a lot of rules. Know the rules. We got in trouble. Don't ride in the back of the pickup truck. Usually the campground, the kids jump in the back, you go down the pool. They were sick of riding their bikes back and forth. They're like, no ride in the back of the pickup truck. So no riding your bikes without a helmet. No firewood. You'll get, like, if you book this, you'll get emails and emails about all the rules. And you're like, oh yeah, that's something you don't even read. Well, actually, they're all enforced. So just so you know, there's a lot of rules. But it's a very friendly campground. They keep a good vibes. The Campground was absolutely great. Like I said, we look forward to going back in cooler weather in the spring and the fall, do some hiking. There's lots of hiking in the area, and I look forward to going back up there and hiking. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough that I did. It might be a little shaky, and like I said, I will try to put sites numbers and so you get an idea of where they're at. So if you want to book this campground, it'll help give you an idea of where you might want to book. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, all right, until we go to the next campground, talk to you soon. Happy camping.
This is bear country back here.
I think I see one.
Frogs. M20, M19, M17, M16, M15.